So spent about 3/4 of today's session with our business owner, and that was continuing on with the sales and those sorts of things, which I'll get into in a second. We also followed up on some of the operational things with the rest of the team. One of the things, because our warehouse coordinator role has disappeared, we're implementing some procedures around just managing the warehouse. Stock take is one of the processes we're working on at the moment. So we've got a few things documented around how they want to run that, and they'll be testing those over the next week or two and refining them, and once we've got them refined, then we'll lock them in and they'll become somebody's responsibility. At the moment, it looks like in the short term, most of the warehousing is going to go to the owner's oldest son, who's also in line to become the general manager at some point in the future. Then we also followed on with our video procedures, so they've managed to find a few more, so we now have identified they have 20 of those, been through and reviewed 7 of those 20, and identified there's 2 or 3 that could do with an update. The others are pretty good. So and with people being away, we sort of hadn't had as much time to get through them all, to review all of them, so that should happen over the next week or two. And then the main focus of the meeting was on the sales and the sales pipeline. The whiteboard is up, so they followed through on their promise to get that one set up. So the whiteboard was there, but it was empty. So we populated it today with the very basic initial key performance indicators that we want for our sales reps. And the 2 key things that we're just going to focus on initially are the 2 obvious things that I mentioned in the last one, are around the monthly total sales targets for each rep, and also the number of visits. So, and that's actual physical visits that we want to set as targets, because there's a big difference between a physical visit and an email or a phone call. And so we want to be strategic around setting meetings to actually be face to face with clients and eventually potential clients, which leads into some of the bigger picture things that we're focusing on. So we've got some more reporting. We had a few spreadsheets set up during the week, which have pulled a lot of data out of the software management system that they have, and put it more into a format that makes sense to how we want to manage it, and in particular right now to how we want to manage the sales team. So our 2 reps we're going to have to deal with differently. So as I mentioned in the previous video, we've got 1 rep who's got a whole heap of clients, a lot of experience, and is making really good revenue. And we have another rep who, the more I get to know this person and about their capabilities and what they've been doing, the more obvious it's becoming that our second rep is going to need more help. And look, to be honest, more help than you should have to give a rep in that sort of a role. So that's going to be interesting as it progresses. However, The tools that we need to build need to be built regardless of whether or not Rep 2 turns out to be the right person for the role in the long term. But it's going to be a really good exercise for us as we go through building the different tools that they're going to be using. And solidifying that as the business's actual client customer service and client building process and framework. So we're working at a couple of different levels. At the very basic level, we want our reps, Rep 1 and Rep 2, B1 and B2, to be focused on a week-by-week basis and to have accountability to themselves and back to the business owner for what they're actually doing and the clarity and the focus. And I was with Rep 2 today. He was with us for at least half of the meeting, and he even has said himself, since the beginning of introducing the sales meetings, it's brought more focus, and they're actually starting to see the momentum building up in the sales process. So we set a baseline for Rep 2 in terms of target turnover for the month. So we went back and we got a historical picture of what his turnover's been for the last 6 months and averaged that out, which as a basic rule of thumb start to the process is enough. It'll be useful for what we're trying to achieve. And then we've added a percentage to that baseline benchmark that has been his fairly consistent turnover figure, and we're actually setting that as an objective for this month. And our aim is to work with him on strategies for the existing clients that he's servicing to find opportunities to either sell more of what he's already been selling to those clients, or find opportunities to introduce new products to his clients, because he openly admits that he has clients who could buy more from them, and in fact they would actually be doing these clients a favour by introducing their products, because they can get these products to those clients at a cheaper price than what they're currently paying in a lot of instances. So yeah, this is something that we should be doing. The other thing that we've done is we've expanded out, so each of the reps, so that from the spreadsheets that we were looking at the previous week, we identified that one's got 69, the other's got 27 current clients. I've just had them tweak those spreadsheets just a little so that we can add objectives, comments and follow-up dates to each of the clients, with the aim that we're going to start getting a little bit more strategic in the sales meetings around what our objectives are going to be for specific clients each month. So the idea, and what we talked about it today, and both Rep 2 and the business owner thought it was a great idea, that we're going to take those client lists for each of them, and at the beginning of each month strategically select a group of clients that we could offer more to, and aim to expand either the volume of existing products that are being sold, or the range of products which are being sold, which is probably likely to be, is more likely to work that way. But that's just going to help give them more focus. Also today, the idea of a visual product reference for one of their safety lines, one of their workplace health and safety product lines. One of their customers actually asked for a reference chart for this particular line of products. And it triggered a couple of other ideas around also their apparel, because Rep 2 was quite open in sharing that he's not that comfortable with the idea with selling clothing, and they sell a heap of clothing and they've got an embroidery division, so you know, we want Rep 2 to be comfortable with doing this. That would be a good idea. So, but you know, this is good for us because it's bringing pressure back to management to improve the quality of the sales tools and the sales systems that we're giving our salespeople, which means that the better those systems get, the less dependent we are on finding, you know, amazing sales reps, and the easier it is for us to maintain the talent pool, expand the talent pool, because we do want to put on another rep in the not too distant future. So this triggered another idea for us to be able to put together these visuals, these kind of menus by industry type that would allow clients to make much easier decisions around purchasing uniforms. It would also make it much easier for the reps to be able to present their uniform options. And while it's doing that, making it easy for both, it's also making the organisation look more professional, and it's simplifying the decision-making process for their clients. So this is only going to lead to win-win-win. So we're going to be working on that. There's a lot to do on the sales side, and lots of opportunities on the marketing side. I am really wanting to focus on those, because by the time we start getting traction out of this, it's going to be months from when we start implementing these things until the point that we start converting, particularly new clients. It's going to be quite a while. So I'm really putting a lot of focus on this really early so that we can start putting things in place, start to get a bit of traction in terms of progressing the growth, because the ultimate goal is we want to take this business from 3 million turnover to 10 million turnover, and that's going to come from selling. So that's where we're at for this week, and I'll update you in the next one.